You noticed something strange happening in British politics. For years, many working class communities voted Labour, generation after generation, election after election. It was almost a tradition, but now something is changing, and the numbers are starting to shock Westminster. In local elections across England, Reform UK has been winning seats at a pace that many political experts never expected. So here's the question: why are some traditional Labour voters turning to Reform UK? And could this political shift change the future of Britain? Stay with me because the answer may surprise you. Welcome back to UK Current Affairs Analysis. If you enjoy honest discussions about British politics, current affairs, and the stories shaping our country, consider subscribing. Now, let's begin. Recently, Reform UK's Richard Tice stood up in the Parliament and made a bold claim. He argued that voters are losing patience with Labour and that Reform UK is becoming a serious political force. A Labour MP challenged him. She pointed out that in places like Bradford, most people did not vote for Reform UK. In other words, she argued that reform was not as popular as it claimed. At first glance, that sounds reasonable. But Richard Tice fired back with a simple argument. If Reform UK is becoming the largest party in certain areas, if it has gained over 1,000 new councillors, if voters continue supporting it in election after election, can anyone seriously argue that it is not popular? And this is where the story becomes interesting. Because this debate is not really about Richard Tice. It is not even about one local election. It is about something much bigger. It is about trust. Imagine a football club. For years, supporters back the same manager. They defend him. They trust his decisions. But eventually, results starts getting worse. The team keeps losing. Promises are made. Nothing changes. At some point, supporters begin looking for alternatives. But because they are frustrated with what they already have, many political analysts believe something similar may be happening in parts of Britain. For decades, Labour dominated many working class communities, especially in the North and the Midlands. But today, some voters feel disconnected from the party they once supported. Why? There are several reasons. Some people point to immigration, others point to the cost of living crisis. Some feel Labour is focusing too much on Westminster politics and not enough on everyday concerns. And then there is Brexit. Remember, many traditional Labour areas voted strongly to leave the European Union. For those voters, Brexit was not simply about economics. It was about control, identity, and feeling heard. When voters believe politicians are moving away from those concerns, frustrations begins to grow. That frustration creates opportunity. And Reform UK has been trying to position itself as the party that listens to those voters. Now, whether you agree with Reform UK or not is a completely different question. But what cannot be ignored is this: people are paying attention. A few years ago, many commentators dismissed Reform UK. Today, they are discussing it every week. Why? Because election results force people to pay attention. Politics is full of surprises. History shows us that major political shifts often begin quietly. Very few people predicted the Brexit referendum result. Very few people predicted Donald Trump's first victory in the United States. And very few people predicted how quickly Reform UK would grow after the general election. Could something similar be happening again? Perhaps. Or perhaps this is simply a protest vote that will fade away. That is the great political mystery. And it brings us back to the question we asked at the beginning. Why are some Labour voters switching to Reform UK? The answer may not be one single issue. It may be frustration, it may be immigration, it may be economy, it may be trust, or perhaps it is all of these things combined. One thing is certain: British politics is changing, and both Labour and the Conservatives are paying close attention. Because if Reform UK continues growing at this pace, the next general election could look very different from the last one. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Reform UK is a genuine political movement, or is it simply benefiting from voters' frustration? Let me know in the comments. I read as many comments as possible, and I genuinely enjoyed hearing different perspectives. If you found this analysis useful, please like the video. And if you want more in-depth discussion on UK politics, Labour, Reform UK, Keir Starmer, Nigel Farage, and the issues shaping modern Britain, subscribe to UK Current Affairs Analysis. Because the next political earthquake may already be starting, and when it happens, you will hear about it here first. Thanks for watching.